I heard Tom Milliken this morning make the point, the producer of the morning show does a fine job, made the point that in the league it does matter, and I know you kind of were making fun of the Garden, but if you go into the Garden, a nationally televised prime game, Iron Eagle on the call, you got a Van Gundy sitting next to him, and you make that kind of statement game, it does help for your MVP case. And, after the game, J.B. Bickerstaff said, you don't pick an MVP off of one game or one statement. He's been doing that all season long. It's just another night of him being the same. You asked the question, is Cade the new favorite amongst Detroit sports fans? Are you talking about all sports?
Yeah. Because I think he's getting there. I don't know if Skubal is, because everybody thinks that Skubal's going to leave. So it feels like almost cheated there with the Tigers. Mm-hmm. I don't think any other Tiger has earned that right to be called the favorite. You look at the Red Wings, and the Larkin has been somewhat polarizing, though being as good as he's been for Team USA, and hopefully this is the year. Maybe he's getting some of that. But even Mo Seider, a lot of those guys. There's a lot of guys in the running for the Red Wings, but none of them, I think, really vault past anything. Lions, you have maybe there's a bigger case to be made. I think everybody loves Jahmyr Gibbs. And Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Campbell. Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yep.
Yes, and love Jack Campbell. But Cade is the absolute superstar of the group. There's no questioning he's a superstar now. He's in discussions for the MVP. There's three guys that are going to get votes for the MVP, and Cade's one of them in the NBA.
Yep.
And, it's as much as I like the guys in the Lions, they're not the best at their position. They're not up for MVPs. All right, Jack Campbell, slow down. Nobody's talking about Jack Campbell for defensive MVP.
Well, don't say nobody.
You're not talking about Jack Campbell for an MVP either. But Cade is a legit MVP candidate, I guess. And I think if he isn't the number one favorite in Detroit right now, he's close to it.
The number one favorite athlete?
Yeah, I think the one thing that would maybe knock him down is because basketball isn't the number one sport among Detroit sports fans.
For some people it is, obviously,
Yeah.
but we know when it comes to things that we talk about that really get the phone lines hopping and get a lot of feedback and tracking listenership and all that. Yeah, it's not, but it could be getting it's moving up the ladder and getting its foothold back, if you will. Is Cade Detroit's current favorite athlete? We're probably going to be prisoner of the moment here a little bit, but you've got Jared Goff. His name is getting chanted at Red Wing games in Sunrise, Florida. So
he's somewhat polarizing too.
He kind of is. But I didn't know this. Do you know how many MVPs the Pistons have had as an organization?
None.
Yeah. They've never had the NBA MVP.
Isaiah was never, and he would have been the best.
Yeah. They never have had an NBA MVP. So he's in the mix. And we've had our share, like the Tigers organization had a bunch.
Yeah.
But, that goes back to Ty Cobb kind of stuff. But,
Sergey was probably the last for the
Sergey was the last for the Red Wings, won the Hart Trophy in 94. Barry Sanders won the NFL offensive MVP in 1997, MVP, sorry. The American League MVP, the last one the Tigers won was Miggy in 2013. I think it went JV Miggy. So, we had a well-represented stretch there. Yeah. Pistons haven't had one. And, I said a while ago I made a small wager when Cade was 33-1. And then earlier this week, didn't I say he was 12-1?
I think so.
I wonder what he is today, if that boosted his odds. What we got to remember is SGA was like minus 180. So he's still a big-time favorite to win the thing.
Yeah, but SGA didn't just beat the Knicks on national television.
Nope.
Well, on Amazon Prime, I guess, but it was it national for the New York audience? Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, Cade this week has gone from plus 1,200 to plus 700. So he's gaining momentum. Money is coming in on Cade for MVP.
Well, take care of the Hammond Bulls tomorrow night and, watch it go up again.
Well, and set that stretch up next week against the contenders in the West. Like, I think we've seen enough to comfortably say that they are a strong candidate to win the East. And if you're a strong candidate to win your conference, you're an NBA title contender. Next week, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, at San Antonio the week after. That's where you start to get into how serious of an NBA title contender are.
Cleveland in the mix.
Cleveland right in the middle, all that. So, and Cleveland's a whole different. I mean, they took the big swing with James Harden. That could still be a factor. I don't think you overlook them in any way. I feel like the Knicks, though, this has been an important step for the Pistons to kind of send a message to the team that, look, they were the veteran team last year. The Knicks beating the Pistons was no huge surprise. What was a surprise when the Pistons won game one, it felt like expectations. What's going on here?
And then changed. And
yeah.
Then there was a non-call on a three-point shot that should have been and changed the series, unfortunately. But this year it's a different team, a different focus. They've got a couple different players. Mm-hmm. And then the players that were here on last year's team, they've upped their game, including the superstar Cade Cunningham.
Feedback coming in. My observation from this is from an unnamed texter. My observation from last night is just how deep the Pistons team is. We were playing with our third and fourth string big guys, and we dominated New York. After the game, J.B. Bickerstaff said, it speaks to our depth and our character. We believe in our depth. We've won a ton of games, not at full strength. Exactly right. Whoever's texted this, I wish you signed it so we give you your props. The fourth quarter box score is amazing. This game was put away, led by Paul Reed with 9 in the fourth, Danis Jenkins with 8, Cade had 7, Tolu Smith had 6. Those are your fourth quarter scoring leaders. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Tolu Smith, a nice big body that, again, knows his role. He's not an NBA all-star by any means, but you tell him we need quality minutes, and he goes out there and gives you quality minutes.
Let's get back to your open line calls. Dave is in Livonia and on 97.1. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You know, I watch the Pistons, and I think back to the Red Wings, and I watch Cade, and, you know, he's just such a quiet guy. To me, the correlation I see Nick Lindstrom, who's, you know, one of the greatest defensemen ever, and Cade Cunningham is kind of the same guy, kind of the same personality. You know, you watch the game the second time. If you watch it again, you say, man, that was a good play. Lindstrom was exactly the same way. You don't realize just how good he is. Cade, you look at the box score like, oh, my gosh, this is amazing. And I think they're very similar in that. Unfortunately, you don't get national recognition being the quiet guy because neither one of them were very boisterous.
I mean, Nick Lindstrom won, seven Norris trophies or whatever it was. He got his accolades for sure. I think that Cade's way more emotional than Lindstrom is. But I understand it. There is a quiet demeanor about Cade. He's not very boisterous. He's got this very, low and calm speech pattern when he talks after games and stuff. But you started to see some of the emotion last night, getting up in the face of Jeremy Sochan late in that game after knocking down to 3. I love that, and there are reasons for him to be emotional. Now he's taking charge of games. When he took it to the rack and slam dunked it, and Karl Anthony Towns just wanted nothing to do with it and just starts walking away while he's in the air because he didn't want to get posterized. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be more impressive, though. Their hustle, I mean, they are no doubt a Detroit pride type team.
Hey, he does the macro things and the micro things, right? He plays on the defensive end, shares the basketball, makes the extra pass, and last night was macro. Last night was 42 points. National TV streamed, but national TV in the Garden.
International TV.
Yeah, that's right.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Available everywhere. Knicks starting 5. Okay, this is from an unnamed texter. The Knicks starting 5, average age is 29.2. The Pistons starting 5, average age is 26.6. That's with Duncan and Tobias. The Pistons are a younger, hungrier team. From another unnamed texter, the Pistons hang their hats on something that wins championships: defense. Like I said, and I think it was called a rod as we talked it out and workshopped an idea, this team is custom made for Detroit, right? This team is custom made in a sense that what we like, they do. What plays well in Detroit is how the Pistons have a chance to win the East this year and maybe more. How the bad boy Pistons did it back in the day and how the going to work Pistons did it. This team's custom built for Detroit. Brian writes in, a little disappointed that Herter seems like a non-factor, but they're winning by 15 points, I guess. They don't need him. Well, like I said, a side project the rest of the way is to get Kevin Herter going. There's, 30 games left, 28, whatever it is, 26, 28 games left, whatever it is.
Yeah, but didn't get in the game last night. No Marcus Sasser either. Chaz Lanier, another DNP coach's decision.
Yep. We got a text here from a NBA is unwatchable guy.
Oh.
We will get to that coming up today at 10:46, plus your phone calls and feedback here on 97.1.